Lady? Your name is Lady?
Yes, it's even written on my side.
Then you're the lost engine.
Lost engine? I don't think I understand. Have you heard of me before?
Yes, from my friend Edward. He told me and the others about you.
My, that's a very interesting story, but that's not the whole story, I'm afraid.
You mean there's more?
Yes, you see, that accident I had really did happen, but your friend doesn't know how or why I had the accident. Let me explain. One day I was resting in a siding when an engine pulling stone came in. He was waiting to let a passenger train go by. Just then, I felt like someone was inside my cab, fiddling with the controls. The next thing I knew, I was moving forward out of the siding. I kept going until I stopped outside the point. Then I heard footsteps from behind. I couldn't see who it was, but then I heard the point swing, and then the footsteps again. Suddenly, I began to move backwards. I was picking up speed, and I couldn't stop myself, not without my driver. Well, you already know what happened.
Wait, someone made you crash? Who would do such a thing?
Me and my driver had a feeling it was that same man who wanted to buy me for scrap, P.T. Boomer. He was being all too willing to get me for any price. The railway controller back then agreed to the deal and told Boomer to get me the next day. That controller was not a good man. In fact, the only thing he ever cared about was the money, not the well-being of the railroad. My driver, Burnett Stone, knew this was unfair and decided he wanted to keep me safe, so he made a difficult decision. Late that night, he came to take me away where no one would ever find me. Not the railway controller, not P.T. Boomer, not anyone. So we cautiously and quietly made our way out of the yard and onto a part of my branch line I had never been to before. He brought me to an old yard and put me inside this shed. Then he cleaned and polished me one last time before leaving. As he was closing the door, he looked back. He told me that one day he would return and that all would be all right for the both of us. But until then, to keep safe and have faith, then a small tear came from his eye and said, "Goodbye, lady," and then he closed the door. So I waited. Days became weeks, weeks into months and months to years, and Burnett still never returned. I was sure something had happened to him. A terrible storm came one day and destroyed the roof of the shed. I was exposed to the harsh elements of the weather. Wind, rain, and snow fell inside and ruined my beautiful paint. I felt very cold and alone. I thought no one would ever find me, so in a way, I guess, I really was the lost engine. I've been in here ever since, and now I'm certain Burnett Stone will never come back for me.
Lady, I think you've been in here long enough. I can get you out of here and you can be a really useful engine again.
What? Are you sure? Is it really safe for me to come out again?
Of course it's safe. This isn't the Sodor and Malin Railway anymore. It's now the Northwestern Railway, and Sir Topham Hatt is our best controller.
Oh, thank you, Thomas. Thank you so much. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I've waited so long for this day. Oh, I almost forgot how beautiful the sky looks when it's not obscured by roof holes. Well, you know much about me. Tell me a bit about yourself, Thomas. What work do you do?
Well, let me see. I shunt coaches and trucks, I have my very own branch line, and two of my own coaches named Annie and Clarabelle, and I...
Wait, Annie and Clarabelle? They're still around?
You know Annie and Clarabelle?
Of course I do. They were two of my old coaches from back in the day. I had 3 coaches altogether. There was Annie, Dorothy, and Clarabelle. We all got along well together and became best friends. The passengers thought they were the smartest looking coaches they had ever seen on the railway.
Who's Dorothy? I've known Annie and Clarabelle for many years and they never told me about her.
You mean you don't have Dorothy with them? That can't be. They're inseparable. Something must have happened.
Well, the cosmic damage is a bit worn, but everything else checks out. All she needs is some coal and water, and some oil for her joints, and she can move just fine. That's wonderful news, and once the Fat Controller sees how useful she is, he can have her restored. It's best if we take her back with us to the yard just in case we forget this place again, unless we have another run with Diesel 10. Oh no, I forgot! If that big bully Diesel sees me, I'm as good as done for, and who knows what he'll do to Lady if he sees her like this.
What's a Diesel? And who's Diesel 10? Oh my goodness, that's horrible. He sounds even worse than Boomer.
So what do? We can't let him see her like this or else she's off to the scrap yards. But how can we hide an engine like Lady while we go down the main line where everyone will see us?
Edward, I heard about the mess. Good work. Now tell me, where is Thomas? He was supposed to be here.
Oh, well, you see, sir.
I shall have a word with Diesel 10. This behavior is unacceptable. Diesel 10, I've heard about your little chase with Thomas. You have caused confusion.
But I was in the truck.
And I will not tolerate this negative feeling you have towards my engines. I'm sure you felt upset when the accident occurred, but that is no excuse to threaten any of my engines. I know for a fact that Thomas would never let something like this happen intentionally, and I think you owe him an apology. And if you step out of line one more time, I shall send you back to the mainland never to return. Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I do, sir.
Ah, Thomas, there you are. I believe Diesel 10 has something he would like to say to you. Isn't that right?
I'm sorry for chasing after you, Thomas. I was wrong to do that. I now know it was just an accident.
Oh, well, thank you, Diesel 10. Apology accepted.
Good. Then that is settled. Now then, Thomas, I would like you to come to Knapford as soon as you can. I have another job for you.
Well, now that this is settled, I think maybe we can start over. You know, try to be friends?
Let's get one thing straight, Puffball. I didn't come here to make any friends. I'm here to work, and I would never be friends with a steam engine. Get in my way again, and I'll rip your funnel off. Now scram! Wait a minute. What are you doing with those trucks?
Nothing!
You're late, Bear. You should have been here 10 minutes ago.
I know, but I was held up at Barrow.
Well, I wouldn't be too critical, Golden. After all, you were late too. What? But it wasn't even my fault. It was that big hill again. It always slows me down when I have too many passengers on board the express. Oh, right. The hill was responsible. Well, I suppose it can't be helped. So long, little brother. I hate it when he calls me that.
I'm back! And I got the coal and water, just like I said.
Thank you, Thomas. Now all I need is a driver. But I'm surprised you would go to all this trouble just for me.
We engines always help out one another no matter what, because no job is more important than helping your friends.
We're friends?
Of course we are. I'll come and visit you whenever I can until I can find you a good driver.
Thomas, thank goodness you're okay. Emily told me she saw you being chased on the main line by Diesel 10.
I was. He chased me all the way to the old Peel Goddard branch line where I found...
Found what? Thomas, is there something going on?
Well,
Thomas, say something. I thought we were friends. Whatever it is, you can trust me. You know that.
Okay, Percy, I'll tell you, but you can't tell anyone. Not yet, anyway.
You have my word, Thomas. Not a soul.
Okay, here it is. I found Lady, the lost engine.
You what? Shh! Sorry. You what? Thomas, that's amazing. I can't believe you actually found her.
I know! I couldn't believe it myself when I saw her. So now I'm trying to help her be really useful again. I just need to find her a driver.
Oh, Thomas, please let me help. If there's anything I could do for her, anything at all.
Well, I suppose there is one thing you could do. Could you ask around, find out what happened to Lady's original driver, Burnett Stone, but don't mention anything about Lady. Remember, Percy, you can't tell anyone about her.
I knew he was up to something, and I'm going to find out what. Right, Pinchy?
Ah, Thomas, just the engine I wanted to speak with. I have a special job for you this evening. I would like you to collect Annie and Carabel and take the evening local.
Yes, sir. You can count on me.
That's a good engine.
Now listen up, Splodge. That blue puffball and his green saddle tank friend are hiding something, and I want you two to spy on them and find out what they're up to.
Oh, sure thing, boss. What are they up to?
I don't know. That's what I want you to find out, you lunkheads.
Oh, right.
That little blue teapot got me into trouble with Fat Hat, and I'm going to get back at him by ruining whatever it is he's up to. Then he'll be sorry.
I'm sorry, Percy, but in those days I was still working on my old tramway up in Owlsdale End. I wish I could be more helpful to you.
That's alright, Toby. I forgot you didn't come here yet until after me. She was quick to make friends with engines on the narrow gauge railway like Scarloey and Rheneas. That's right. Scarloey's been here since the S&M days. He might know something about Burnett Stone. Scarloey, I have to talk to you.
Oh, hello, Percy. What's got you so excited?
Well, it's just that you've been on Sodor for a really long time, so I was wondering if you knew anything about someone from long ago.
Well, I suppose I can try to remember, but I've known a lot of passengers, visitors, and railway workers in my time. Of course, it all depends on who it is.
Okay, here it is. What do you know about Burnett Stone?
Burnett Stone? I haven't thought about him in years. Why do you want to know about him?
It's complicated. I just want to know what happened to him.
Well, I don't know much, Percy. All I remember is that he drove a very special engine he always took great care of. But years ago, both he and the engine had disappeared. I don't know what happened to him. It's a complete mystery.
So that's what Percy's up to. He's trying to find out about this Burnett Stone guy. But I wonder why.
You are holding up the line. Make way for the Duke and Duchess.
Oops!
If you're still thinking about trying to find that lost engine, then you're wasting your time. There's no such thing. You would just go running around in circles all over the island. Annie, Clarabelle, can I ask you two something?
What is it, Thomas?
Well, we've known each other for a long time, and we're always open to one another about, well, everything.
Of course, Thomas. We're always honest with you.
So then why haven't you told me about your sister Dorothy?
What? How did you know we had a sister named Darcy?
Let's just say that someone told me about it. So why haven't you two told me? I saw you trusted me.
Well, it's just that we don't like to talk about it that much. We've wanted to tell you for so long.
Did something happen between you three?
In a way, yes. But we never had a falling out. We got along splendidly, all three of us. This was a very long time ago, back when the railway was the S&M. We were painted in clump purple with gold stripes and white. The railway had built us in honor of an engine who was given her own branch line. We all got along well with the engine and became very close friends. She was so kind and generous, and she never ever bumped us or even played tricks on us. We had never been so happy. But then one day, we were waiting in the yard for our engine, but she never came that day. Word had spread that she had disappeared the night before, and no one could find her, so we were kept in the shed for a very long time. Until one day, the controller of the S&M railway came to us and said that we were taking up space in the shed and that we weren't useful anymore. That controller was not nice and didn't know how to treat a coach or any of his engines. Naturally, we felt insulted, but we didn't say anything to him. But Dorsey was fed up with the controller's attitude and took a stand. She started arguing with him and throwing insults, and then she called him a very harsh name that made the entire yard go silent.
What did she call him?
You don't want to know, Thomas. The controller was so cross with Dorsey that he decided to make an example of what happened to those who talked back to him. So he took her away from us, and then he sort of a scrap.
Cinders and ashes. That's horrible.
We wanted to tell you for so long, Thomas, but we just couldn't bear the memory. But Thomas, who told you about Dorsey anyway?
I'm not going to lie to you two. I may as well tell you who told me. It was the engine who took care of you back in those days. It was Lady. But you can't tell anyone about her.
Lady? Our old engine? You found her? Thank goodness. I thought we'd never hear from her again. Don't worry, Thomas. Your secret is safe with us.
You know, I still can't believe all of this. You lose Dorsey, Lady runs away into hiding, and all this because she had one accident with some random engine which wasn't even her fault.
Thomas, that wasn't just any engine Lady crashed into. That was Edward.
Edward?
Oh, Thomas, I'm sorry. I asked all around, but no one knew anything about Bernard Stone.
It's okay, Percy. I know you did your best, but there's gotta be someone who knows what happened to him.
Excuse me? I couldn't help but overhear what you said, and I think I can help you too.
Oh, hello. We didn't notice you. Who might you be?
My name is Lillian Stone, but you can call me Lily. As it just so happens, Bernard Stone was my grandfather, and I can tell you what happened.
Really? That's wonderful. Oh, and my name is Percy.
And I'm Thomas. So what did happen to your grandfather?
My grandfather told me he used to be an engineer on this island long ago. However, he had retired and was living in Bristol when he met my grandmother, Tasha. Eventually they got married and started a family. Years later, when his son, my father, had grown up and moved out, he moved to a quiet place in the countryside and started an orchard. I would often visit him when my parents were away, and we got along very well. He even told me stories of when he was an engineer for a special engine he drove once. It was right then and there that I decided to be an engineer when I grew up. So, my parents sent me to school and I learned everything I needed to know about being a good railway engineer. On the day of my graduation, however, my grandfather was nowhere to be seen. We got the news later that he had passed away the night before my graduation.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry about that. I suppose that explains a lot. So, why are you here on Sodor now?
Before he died, my grandfather wrote in his will that I was to inherit his most prized possession, his engine, which he calls Lady. I was given a map to an old shed where the engine was kept, but when I arrived, the shed was empty. I guess someone had found her already. Well, it was nice talking to you two, but I'm just waiting to take the next train to the mainland.
No, wait! Lily, I know the engine you're looking for, and I know where she is.
You do?
Yes, Thomas found her.
It's kind of a long story, but I only wanted to help her. Do you still want to see her?
Oh, yes! Yes, I do. Please take me to her.
Okay, meet me back here tomorrow morning and I'll take you to her.
Thank you, Thomas. I will.
So that's what he's up to. Oh, wait till I tell the boss, and then he'll say,
You idiots! I give you one simple job and that's all you have to tell me?
But boss, we did what you told us to do.
You were supposed to find out what that blue puffball was up to, but instead you give me these stories about some old man and his granddaughter and some special old engine day. That old engine wouldn't happen to be a steam engine, would it?
Well, I suppose it is possible. It was a long time ago.
So that's why he had that coal and water. He's hiding that engine and trying to help her. This is perfect!
Yeah, it is. We knew it would please you, boss, didn't we?
Another steamy for the scrap pile. This'll teach that Thomas what happened when he crosses Diesel 10, and I get to send that old tin kettle to the scrap heap. It'll be like killing 2 birds with 1 stone, or 2 steamies with 1 claw. So, where can I find this old engine?
Well, we don't know. Thomas must have hidden her really well, so we...
What? Well then you two go back out there and find her! Now!
Yes, boss. Right away, boss. We're on it. You know those two aren't very dependable. They won't find a thing in this darkness.
Huh? Who said that?
Oh, just another diesel. A devious diesel. And I can help you find this engine. All it takes is a little espionage.
You strangely interest me. Keep talking.
Where's Edward? He's usually back by now.
He's staying at Wellsworth tonight so he can start work early tomorrow. He said that I could sleep here in his place tonight.
Why do you ask, Thomas? Is there something you wanted to say to him? Well, yes. I wanted to ask him about something that may have involved him long ago.
You can just ask him tomorrow, Thomas. Just go to sleep.
Oh, alright.